Chapter 1. Stop waiting to feel ready.
You're waiting. You've been waiting for months, maybe years, waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right time, waiting for confidence to arrive like some package you ordered that's perpetually delayed. Here's the truth. It's never coming. That feeling you're waiting for, the one where everything clicks, where doubt disappears, where you finally feel capable enough to begin, it doesn't exist. It's a fantasy. A permission structure you've built to justify staying exactly where you are. Let me be clear. Waiting to feel ready is not preparation. It's not wisdom. It's not strategic patience. It's cowardice dressed up in responsible clothing. Think about the last goal you abandoned. The business you didn't start. The conversation you didn't have. The training program you postponed. What was your reason? You weren't ready yet. You needed more time, more knowledge, more certainty. That's the trap. The readiness trap is simple. You believe confidence comes first, then action follows. But you have it backwards. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. Confidence is the result of doing the thing you're afraid of, not the prerequisite for doing it. You will never feel ready for the things that will change your life. Never. The job interview that could transform your career, you won't feel ready. The difficult conversation that could save your relationship, you won't feel ready. The business launch, the competition, the move to a new city, none of it will feel comfortable before you do it. And that's exactly the point. Feeling ready is a myth sold to keep you comfortable and stationary. It's a lie you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of growth. Because here's what no one wants to admit. Growth feels terrible. It feels like inadequacy, like being exposed, like you're in over your head. That feeling, that's not a warning sign. That's the signal you're exactly where you need to be. Your nervous system is designed to resist growth. Understand this. Your brain is not wired for achievement. It's wired for survival, and survival means predictability, familiarity, safety. Anything unknown triggers alarm bells. Your body floods with cortisol. Your thoughts spiral into worst-case scenarios. Your emotions scream at you to retreat. Fear, doubt, and hesitation are biological responses meant to protect you from the unfamiliar. They are not accurate assessments of your capability. They are primitive defense mechanisms designed for a world where unfamiliar meant predators and death. But you're not facing predators, you're facing discomfort. And there's a massive difference. When you wait to feel ready, you're letting a 2-million-year-old survival system make decisions about your modern life. You're letting instincts designed to keep you alive in the wilderness determine whether you send that email, make that call, or show up to that gym. Feelings are not facts. Read that again. Feelings are not facts. Just because you feel unprepared doesn't mean you are unprepared. Just because you feel incapable doesn't mean you are incapable. Just because something feels dangerous doesn't mean it is dangerous. Your emotional state is data, not direction. It's information about your nervous system's response to novelty, nothing more. So when you say, "I don't feel ready," what you're really saying is, "I'm uncomfortable." And discomfort is not a legitimate reason to delay your life. Every single person who has done something meaningful felt unprepared when they started. Every entrepreneur, every athlete, every artist, every leader, they all began before they felt ready. The difference between them and everyone else isn't that they had more confidence, it's that they moved anyway. They understood something you need to understand right now. Readiness is a feeling you get after you begin, not before. The protocol begins with the decision to move before you're ready. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you've read one more book or taken one more course or lost 10 more pounds. Today, right now, in the next hour, you take action on the thing you've been postponing, the thing you know you should be doing but have been avoiding because it doesn't feel right. You do it precisely because it doesn't feel right. Because that discomfort is the price of admission to the person you're trying to become. This is how you retrain your mind. You take action and you watch what happens. You notice that the catastrophe you imagine doesn't occur. You notice that you survive the discomfort. You notice that you're more capable than your fear suggested. And then you do it again, and again, and again. Each repetition recalibrates your nervous system. Each time you move before you're ready, you teach your brain that discomfort is not danger, that fear is not a stop sign. It's a signpost pointing toward growth, that you can trust yourself to handle uncertainty. This is the foundation of mental toughness, the ability to act independent of emotional state. Most people are emotional slaves. Their feelings dictate their behavior. They only work out when they feel motivated. They only have difficult conversations when they feel courageous. They only pursue opportunities when they feel confident. Which means they're always at the mercy of circumstances, moods, and chemical fluctuations in their brain. You can't build anything meaningful on that foundation. You can't build discipline on motivation. You can't build success on feelings, because feelings are unreliable, temporary, and subject to 1,000 variables you can't control. What you can build on is decision. The decision that certain actions happen regardless of how you feel. The decision that your word to yourself is more important than your emotional state. The decision to move before you're ready every single time growth requires it. That's the key. You don't need permission from your emotions. You don't need confidence to appear. You don't need the stars to align. You need a decision and the willingness to be uncomfortable. So here's your first protocol assignment. Identify the one thing you've been postponing because you don't feel ready. The thing you know would change your trajectory if you just started. Maybe it's reaching out to that person. Maybe it's publishing that work. Maybe it's signing up for that challenge you've been avoiding. Within the next 24 hours, you take the first action. Not a perfect action. Not a comfortable action. Just action. You send the message. You register. You show up. You prove to yourself that you can move independent of readiness. And when the fear comes, because it will come, you recognize it for what it is, an outdated alarm system responding to growth as if it's danger. You feel it, acknowledge it, and do the thing anyway. This is day one of the protocol. This is where mental toughness begins. Not with confidence, not with certainty. With the decision to stop negotiating with your weakness and start moving. You will never feel ready, and that's exactly why you need to start now.
You've just learned the first truth. Readiness is a trap, and action is the escape. Now we need to address the second trap, the one that keeps you performing for others instead of executing for yourself. Chapter 2. The Silent Cost of Seeking Validation.
You post about your goals before you've done anything. You announce your plans. You share your intentions. You tell everyone what you're about to do, what you're working on, what you're going to become. And you call it accountability. You call it sharing your journey. You call it inspiration. Here's what it actually is: a transaction. You're trading your power for applause. Every time you seek external approval, you transfer your power to someone else's opinion. Every single time. You take something that should be internally driven, your goals, your standards, your direction, and you make it dependent on someone else's response. That's the cost. Validation seeking is an unconscious negotiation where you trade your self-worth for someone else's judgment. You hand them the authority to determine whether what you're doing matters, whether you're on the right path, whether you're good enough. And here's the trap. The more you need others to confirm you're on the right path, the less ownership you have over your own direction and decisions. Think about what happens when you post about your goals. You share that you're starting a business, beginning a fitness journey, working on a creative project. The likes come in. The comments arrive. So proud of you. You got this. Can't wait to see your progress. How does that feel? Good, right? Encouraging, supportive. Now here's the question. What happens when you sit down to actually do the work and no one's watching? The validation isn't there anymore. The encouragement is gone. It's just you and the difficulty of the task. And suddenly it's harder because you've trained yourself to associate the goal with the response, not with the execution. You don't need their permission, but you've been acting like you do. You've been operating as if your goals only matter when other people witness them, as if the work only counts when it's documented, shared, and validated by an audience. That's not strength, that's performance. And there's a massive difference. Social media has weaponized your need to be seen. It has taken a basic human desire to be acknowledged, to matter, to be recognized, and turned it into an addiction. An algorithm designed to keep you posting, sharing, seeking, performing. Every platform is built on the same principle. Give people a stage and a metric. Let them broadcast their lives and measure the response. Likes, comments, shares, followers. All of it is quantified validation. All of it is external confirmation that you exist, that you matter, that you're doing something worth noticing. And it's destroying your ability to do anything meaningful. Here's why. You post your goals before you've done the work. You announce that you're going to run a marathon before you've run a mile. You declare you're starting a business before you've made a single sale. You share your intention to change, and people applaud the intention. You're seeking applause for intention rather than execution, and your brain can't tell the difference. Neurologically, when you receive validation for announcing a goal, your brain releases dopamine, the same dopamine that would be released when you actually accomplish the goal. So you get the reward without doing the work. This is called social reality. When you tell people you're going to do something and they respond positively, your brain treats that social acknowledgement as partial completion. You feel productive. You feel accomplished. You feel like you've made progress. But you haven't done anything. This dopamine loop tricks your brain into feeling accomplished without accomplishing anything. And worse, it drains the very fuel you need for actual achievement. Because now, when you sit down to do the hard work, there's no reward waiting. You already got the validation. The applause already happened. The difficulty of execution feels unrewarding because the emotional payoff came too early. That's the key. You've spent the motivation before you earned it. You've cashed the check before you did the work. And now the work feels twice as hard because there's no immediate reward attached to it anymore. So you quit, or you post about it again, seeking another hit of validation to keep you going. And the cycle repeats. Announce, receive applause, feel good, struggle with execution, announce again. You're not building a business, you're building an audience for your intentions. You're not transforming your body, you're documenting the idea of transformation. You're not becoming disciplined, you're performing discipline for people who don't actually care if you follow through. And here's the brutal truth. They don't care, not really. The people liking your posts, commenting encouragement, they're not invested in your success. They're scrolling, they're consuming, they engage for 3 seconds and move on. They'll like your post about starting a business and then like 15 other posts that have nothing to do with you. Their validation means nothing, but you've made it mean everything. You have a choice. You can continue seeking external confirmation for every step you take. You can keep broadcasting your progress, fishing for encouragement, measuring your worth by engagement metrics. You can stay addicted to the performance of growth instead of the reality of it. Or you can go silent. Mental toughness requires becoming your own authority, indifferent to spectators. It requires that you stop needing anyone's permission, approval, or acknowledgement to continue. That you build something so solid internally that external noise, positive or negative, doesn't move you. The protocol demands you go silent. No announcements, no progress posts, no fishing for encouragement, no documenting every workout, every win, every step forward. You delete the audience from your process entirely. This isn't about being secretive or antisocial. This is about reclaiming your power, about proving to yourself that you can do something meaningful without needing constant external validation to fuel it. You do the work in private. You show up every day to the task, the training, the building, and nobody knows. Nobody's watching. Nobody's cheering. There's no applause, no likes, no comments. Just you and the commitment you made to yourself. And that's where real transformation happens. Because when you remove the external validation, you're forced to develop internal validation. You're forced to find satisfaction in the execution itself, not the response to it. You're forced to become someone who keeps their word to themselves, even when no one's watching. That's mental toughness. That's integrity. That's power. Let results speak when they're undeniable, not when you need emotional support to continue. When you've actually done the work, when you've built the business, transformed your body, mastered the skill, then the results speak for themselves. You don't need to announce them. You don't need to document the journey. The outcome is the validation. But until then, silence. Here's your second protocol assignment. For the next 30 days, you go completely silent on your goals. Delete the post where you announced what you're working on. Stop sharing progress updates. Stop talking about what you're going to do or what you're currently doing. If someone asks what you're up to, you keep it vague. Just staying focused, working on some things. You don't elaborate. You don't seek their feedback. You don't invite their opinion into your process. You work in obscurity. You execute without an audience. And you prove to yourself that your commitment doesn't require external fuel to sustain it. This will be uncomfortable. You'll feel the urge to share, to post, to tell someone about the progress you're making. That urge is the addiction talking. That's the validation-seeking pattern trying to reassert itself. Resist it. Every time you feel the need to broadcast, recognize it as weakness, as the part of you that still needs permission from others to believe in what you're doing. And then you double down on the silence. Because here's what happens when you work in private. You become dangerous. You become someone who doesn't need applause to continue. Someone who can't be discouraged by criticism because you're not looking for external feedback in the first place. Someone who operates on a completely different frequency than the people performing their lives for an audience. You stop being a performer. You become an executor. And execution doesn't require spectators. It requires commitment, discipline, the ability to show up and do what needs to be done when no one's watching, no one's encouraging, no one cares. That's the key. You don't need them. You never did. The only person whose belief matters is yours. The only validation that counts is the one you give yourself when you honor the commitment you made in private.
You've stopped seeking permission from your feelings. Now, you've stopped seeking permission from the crowd. But there's something even more fundamental. You need to understand the very thing that builds the person you're becoming. Chapter 3. Discomfort is the curriculum.
You've been taught that comfort equals safety, that if you can just arrange your life to minimize discomfort, you'll be fine. That the goal is to find the path of least resistance, to make things easier, to avoid unnecessary suffering. That's a lie. Comfort isn't safety. Comfort is atrophy. Every day you spend avoiding discomfort, you're not preserving yourself, you're weakening yourself. You're making the world more threatening and yourself less capable of handling it. Everything you want lives on the other side of sustained discomfort. Not momentary pain, not a single hard workout or one difficult conversation. Sustained discomfort, the kind that doesn't end after a day or a week, the kind that becomes your reality for months. That's where transformation lives. Most people can endure a single hard day. They can push through when there's a deadline, a crisis, an emergency. They can summon intensity when it's dramatic, when there's an audience, when the stakes are obvious. But they collapse under the weight of consecutive difficult weeks. Because mental toughness isn't built in crisis. Crisis is actually easy. Crisis gives you adrenaline, focus, clarity. Crisis makes the choice obvious. You rise to the occasion because there's no other option. Real toughness is built in the boring, repetitive grind of doing what's required when no one is watching and nothing feels urgent. It's built on Tuesday morning when you're tired and the alarm goes off at 5. It's built when you're 3 weeks into the diet and the results aren't visible yet. It's built when you're 6 months into the business and revenue is flat and you still have to show up and execute. That's the curriculum, the sustained, unglamorous discomfort that has no finish line in sight. And most people quit, not because they can't handle hard. They can handle hard when it's temporary. They quit because they can't handle boring hard, repetitive hard, hard that doesn't come with applause or visible progress or any evidence that it's working. That's the key. Your transformation isn't happening in the dramatic moments. It's happening in the repetition, in the 100th time you choose the difficult thing over the easy thing, when absolutely nothing about it feels rewarding. Every rep you do when you don't want to, that's not just building muscle, that's building the identity of someone who doesn't negotiate with discomfort. Every morning you get up early when you could stay in bed, that's not just discipline, that's proof to yourself that you control your life, not your feelings. This is what most people don't understand. Discomfort is not the obstacle. Discomfort is the curriculum. It's the teacher, the trainer, the mechanism through which you become capable. You don't grow in comfort. You can't. Growth requires stress, resistance, challenge. It requires you to operate at the edge of your current capability, which by definition is uncomfortable. So when you avoid discomfort, you're not avoiding something unnecessary. You're avoiding the only thing that can change you. And here's what happens when you do that. Your comfort zone shrinks. Every day you stay inside it, it gets smaller. Every time you choose the easy path, the comfortable option, the thing that doesn't require you to stretch, your capacity decreases. Your tolerance for difficulty atrophies. Your resilience weakens. Avoiding discomfort doesn't keep you safe. It makes you fragile. Think about it. The person who always takes the elevator becomes winded by stairs. The person who always orders delivery loses the ability to cook. The person who always avoids conflict becomes terrified of simple disagreements. This is how it works. The longer you defer challenge, the more threatening normal adversity becomes. Small obstacles start feeling insurmountable. A difficult conversation feels like a crisis. A busy work week feels overwhelming. A minor setback feels catastrophic. Because you've lost the capacity to handle normal amounts of difficulty. Your resilience has atrophied completely. And you did this to yourself, not by experiencing trauma, not because life was too hard, but because you made it too easy. You optimized for comfort so aggressively that you eliminated the very friction that keeps you capable. You have a choice. You can continue down this path. You can keep avoiding discomfort, choosing convenience, taking the easy route. You can keep shrinking your capacity until normal life feels difficult, and difficult things feel impossible. Or you can reverse the process. You can start expanding your comfort zone by deliberately living at the edge of it. The protocol trains you to seek discomfort as data, not danger. This is critical. Discomfort is information. It's feedback from your nervous system about what's unfamiliar, what's challenging, what requires growth. It is not a warning that you're in actual danger. It's a signal that you're in the learning zone. But you've been treating it like danger. You've been responding to discomfort the same way you'd respond to a threat. Avoid it, escape it, eliminate it as quickly as possible. That response made sense when discomfort meant predators. It doesn't make sense when discomfort means growth. Starting now, you deliberately choose one uncomfortable task every single day. Not random suffering, not pointless pain, strategic discomfort. The kind that recalibrates your nervous system and expands your capacity. The cold shower, the difficult conversation, the early morning training, the task you've been avoiding because it makes you anxious, the workout that takes you to failure, the project that feels beyond your current skill level. You choose one every single day and you do it. You do this not to suffer, but to recalibrate your nervous system to recognize that discomfort is the signal of growth, not a warning to retreat. This is retraining. You're teaching your body and brain that discomfort is safe, that you can handle it, that it's temporary, manageable, and ultimately beneficial. Every time you voluntarily enter discomfort and come out the other side, you're installing evidence. Evidence that you're more capable than your fear suggests. Evidence that the catastrophe you imagine doesn't happen. Evidence that you can trust yourself to handle difficulty. And this evidence accumulates, it compounds, until discomfort stops being something you avoid and starts being something you recognize as necessary. Here's what changes. You stop flinching. When life presents difficulty, you don't panic. You don't spiral. You don't immediately look for the exit, because you've trained for this. You've voluntarily placed yourself in discomfort so many times that involuntary discomfort doesn't shake you. You become unshakable, not because nothing bothers you, but because you've proven to yourself repeatedly that you can handle what bothers you. That's mental toughness. That's the foundation of everything else. It's not about being fearless. It's about being functional despite fear. It's not about never feeling discomfort. It's about having a trained response to discomfort that moves you forward instead of backward. Here's your third protocol assignment. Identify your daily discomfort practice. Choose one thing that makes you uncomfortable and commit to doing it every single day for the next 30 days, preferably first thing in the morning before you have time to negotiate with yourself. It could be physical, cold shower, early workout, fasting window. It could be social, reach out to someone new, have a difficult conversation, create content publicly. It could be professional, tackle the hardest task first, spend an hour on the thing you've been avoiding, practice the skill that makes you feel incompetent. Whatever it is, it must meet two criteria. It must be uncomfortable, and it must be daily, because that's the key. Daily repetition. Not intensity, consistency. You're not trying to have one heroic day. You're trying to build a pattern where discomfort becomes normal. And when you do this, something remarkable happens. Your baseline shifts. What felt impossible last month feels manageable now. What felt scary becomes routine. Your capacity expands not because you suddenly became different, but because you trained yourself to handle what used to overwhelm you. This is how you become the person who doesn't quit, who doesn't collapse when things get hard, who doesn't need perfect conditions to execute. You build tolerance for discomfort, and that tolerance becomes your greatest asset. Because here's the reality. Everything meaningful in life requires sustained discomfort. Building a business, transforming your health, creating art, raising children, mastering a skill. All of it demands that you operate in a state of ongoing challenge for extended periods. The people who succeed aren't more talented. They're more comfortable being uncomfortable. They've trained themselves to function in difficulty. They've made discomfort the curriculum, not the obstacle. You can do the same, starting today.
You've learned to move before you're ready. You've stopped performing for others. You've embraced discomfort as your teacher. But there's something you're giving away every single day without realizing it, and it's determining who you become. Chapter 4. Your attention is your identity.
Where is your attention right now? Not just in this moment, over the last week, the last month, the last year. Where has your attention actually been going? Not where you wish it went, not where you think it should go. Where has it actually been flowing? Because here's the truth. You become what you consistently give your attention to, regardless of your intentions or aspirations. It doesn't matter what your goals are. It doesn't matter what you tell yourself you're working toward. It doesn't matter what you post about or talk about or dream about. What matters is where your attention goes, because attention is the raw material of identity. Where it goes, you follow. Think about your day yesterday. How many hours did you spend on your phone? How much time scrolling social media, watching videos, consuming content created by other people about their lives, their thoughts, their achievements? Now compare that to how much time you spent creating, building, executing on the thing you say matters most to you. The ratio between consumption and creation is the ratio between who you say you are and who you actually are. If you spend hours consuming content about discipline while binge-watching videos and scrolling feeds, your identity is being shaped by consumption, not creation. You're not becoming disciplined. You're becoming a consumer of disciplined content. There's a massive difference. Your brain doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about repetition. Every time you repeat a behavior, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with that behavior. Every time your attention flows in a particular direction, you make it easier for your attention to flow that direction again. So if you spend 3 hours a day scrolling, you're not just wasting time, you're training yourself to be a scroller. You're building the identity of someone whose default state is passive consumption. And then you wonder why focus feels impossible, why discipline is so hard, why you can't seem to stick to anything. It's because you've trained yourself to be someone else. That's the key. Your attention is not neutral. It's not just passing time. Every moment of attention is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Every time you choose where to direct your focus, you're choosing who you are. And most people are voting against themselves thousands of times a day without realizing it. You say you want to build a business, then you spend your working hours refreshing email and checking notifications. You say you want to master a skill, then you give your practice time to scrolling and entertainment. You say you want mental toughness, then you give your attention to comfort and distraction. Your attention is creating you, and you're letting it flow to things that create the wrong person. Now here's what makes this worse. Distraction isn't a technology problem. It's a self-trust problem. Everyone blames their phone, the algorithm, social media, technology, as if these things have power over you that you don't have over yourself. That's not the problem. The problem is what happens every time you break a commitment to yourself. You sit down to work. You tell yourself you're going to focus for 1 hour, no phone, no distractions. That's the commitment. That's what you decided. 15 minutes in, you check your phone. What just happened? You broke your word to yourself. You told yourself you'd do something, and then you didn't do it. And your brain registered that. It logged the evidence that you can't be trusted. Every time you break a commitment to yourself, checking your phone during focus time, abandoning the task you scheduled, quitting the workout early, you teach yourself that your word means nothing. This erosion of self-trust is why discipline feels impossible. It's not because you lack willpower. It's not because the task is too hard. It's because you've trained yourself not to believe your own commitments. You've accumulated so much evidence that you don't follow through, that you can't stick to plans, that you abandon what you start, that when you make a new commitment, your brain doesn't take it seriously. Why would it? You've proven thousands of times that you don't mean what you say to yourself. That's the real cost of distraction, not the wasted time, the destroyed self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of everything. You can't build discipline without it. You can't build consistency. You can't build mental toughness. Because all of those things require that when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you believe it. Right now, you don't believe it. And you know you don't believe it. That's why every goal feels overwhelming before you start. That's why every commitment feels fragile. Because you already know, based on your history, that you probably won't follow through. You have a choice. You can continue operating this way. You can keep breaking commitments to yourself, letting your attention leak to whatever's most stimulating in the moment, slowly eroding what little self-trust you have left. Or you can rebuild it, starting now. The protocol requires an attention audit and ruthless boundaries around your focus. For the next 30 days, you track every hour like it's currency. Because it is. Your attention is the most valuable resource you have. It's more valuable than money because you can always make more money. You can't make more time and you can't reclaim attention you've already given away. So you track it. You write down, hour by hour, where your attention went. Not what you meant to do. Not what you wish you did. What you actually did. Work, 2 hours. Phone, 3 hours. Social media, 90 minutes. TV, 2 hours. Creating, 30 minutes. This isn't about judgment. This is about reality. You need to see clearly and undeniably where your life energy is actually flowing. Because right now, you're lying to yourself about it. You tell yourself you don't have time to work on your goals. But the audit will show you spend 2 hours a day on apps that don't matter. You tell yourself you're focused. But the audit will show you're fragmented across 20 different stimuli. The audit gives you truth. And truth is where change begins. Then you eliminate, ruthlessly. You eliminate optional notifications, every single one. Your phone doesn't get to interrupt you anymore. Apps don't get to demand your attention whenever they want it. You decide when you engage, not them. You delete apps that steal focus, the ones you open unconsciously, the ones you scroll on autopilot, the ones that give you nothing but take hours. They're gone. Off your phone. Out of your environment. You don't need their permission. You don't need social media's permission to delete it. You don't need entertainment's permission to stop consuming. You don't need anyone's permission to take control of your own attention. And then you create physical barriers between you and distraction. Phone goes in another room during work, not on silent next to you, in another room. If you need it, you have to get up and walk to get it. That friction is enough to break the automatic reach. Browser extensions that block distracting sites. Not just during work hours, during all hours except a designated window. You give yourself 1 hour a day, maximum, for optional internet. The rest of the time, it's blocked. This isn't about productivity. This isn't about squeezing more work out of your day. This is about proving to yourself that you control where your life energy flows. This is about rebuilding self-trust by keeping commitments to yourself. Small ones at first. I will not check my phone for 1 hour. Then you don't. You feel the urge, you acknowledge it, and you don't do it. That's a kept commitment. That's evidence that you can trust yourself. That's a vote for the identity of someone who has control. And you do it again, and again, and again, until the kept commitments outweigh the broken ones, until your brain starts to believe that when you say something, you mean it. That's the key. Self-trust isn't built through big dramatic gestures. It's built through small, repeated demonstrations that you follow through, that your word means something, that when you commit, you execute. Here's your 4th protocol assignment. Conduct your attention audit and implement your boundaries. For the next 7 days, track every hour. Write it down. Create a simple spreadsheet or notebook. Every evening, you document where your attention went that day. Be honest. No one sees this but you. At the end of 7 days, you analyze the data. You calculate how many hours went to creation versus consumption. How many went to your stated priorities versus distraction. How many went to building the person you want to become versus maintaining the person you've been. Then you make 3 changes. 1. Delete the app you use most for mindless consumption. The one you open without thinking. Gone. 2. Turn off all optional notifications. Every app that buzzes, pings, or interrupts you, notification off. You check on your schedule, not theirs. 3. Create 1 daily focus block where your phone is physically inaccessible. 1 hour minimum. Phone in another room. Work uninterrupted. These aren't suggestions. These are requirements. Because without control over your attention, you don't have control over your life. And this protocol is about taking control. It's not about being more productive. It's about becoming trustworthy to yourself. It's not about working harder. It's about proving you can keep your word when you give it. Because that's what mental toughness actually is. It's not the ability to do hard things once. It's the ability to consistently direct your attention and energy where you said it would go, regardless of what your impulses suggest in the moment.
You've learned to act without readiness. You've stopped performing for others. You've embraced discomfort. You've taken control of your attention. Now we address the single behavior that's been sabotaging everything else. Chapter 5. Stop proving and start doing. You're still trying to prove something to your parents, to your peers, to people who don't even think about you, to people who doubted you, to everyone who said you couldn't, wouldn't, or shouldn't. You're building your life around proof, around showing them, around making sure everyone can see that you're capable, valuable, and worthy of respect. And it's destroying your potential. The need to prove yourself is insecurity, disguised as ambition, and it makes you play small. Here's how it works. When you're focused on proving you're worthy, you don't choose the path that leads to actual growth. You choose the path that demonstrates worthiness to others. You choose safe challenges you're likely to win, rather than meaningful challenges that might expose inadequacy. You pick the degree that sounds impressive over the skill that actually interests you. You take the job with the title that impresses people over the opportunity that develops capability. You post about the workout program you started over actually completing the workout program. Everything is performance. Everything is optics. Everything is designed to signal to an imagined audience that you're doing well, progressing, becoming successful, but you're not actually building anything real. This constant performance for an imagined audience keeps you locked in competition with others instead of commitment to growth. You're not asking, what will make me better? You're asking, what will make me look better? Those are completely different questions, with completely different answers. One leads to competence, the other leads to carefully managed perception. And here's the trap. The more you focus on looking capable, the less capable you actually become. Because real capability is built in the dark, in private, through unglamorous, repetitive work that nobody sees and nobody celebrates. But you can't do that work if you're obsessed with the audience, if you need people to witness your progress, if you need validation that what you're doing matters. That's the key. The need to prove yourself isn't driving you forward. It's holding you back. It's keeping you in a perpetual performance where the goal isn't excellence. It's applause. Think about the last goal you shared publicly. The thing you announced, documented, posted about. How much energy went into the work itself versus managing how that work appeared to others? How many progress photos did you take? How many updates did you post? How much time did you spend crafting the narrative of your transformation for an audience? Now, imagine if all that energy went into the actual work. If instead of photographing the workout, you did another set. If instead of posting about the business, you made another sale. If instead of documenting progress, you made more progress. That's the difference between proving and doing. Real power comes from outcome obsession, not optics obsession. People who achieve lasting success aren't concerned with looking capable. They're concerned with becoming capable. They understand something you need to understand. Competence is not built on a stage. Competence is built in private, through thousands of hours of unglamorous repetition that no one sees, celebrates, or validates until the results are undeniable. The athlete training at 5 in the morning in an empty gym, the entrepreneur making cold calls that lead nowhere for months, the artist creating terrible work for years before producing anything good, the writer filling notebooks no one will ever read. All of it invisible, all of it unrewarded, all of it completely unglamorous. But that's where mastery lives. In the repetition no one witnesses, in the consistency no one applauds, in the private commitment to getting better, whether anyone notices or not. You can't access that space if you need an audience, if you need proof that it's working before it's worked, if you need people to acknowledge your effort before you've achieved the result. The need for external validation and the pursuit of actual excellence are incompatible. You can't do both. You have to choose. You have a choice. You can continue trying to prove yourself. You can keep building for the audience, managing perception, making sure everyone knows what you're working on. You can stay in the performance, where every action is designed to demonstrate value, rather than create it. Or you can go dark. You can remove the audience entirely and commit to the work for its own sake. The protocol demands you abandon all proof-seeking behavior and work in obscurity. This is non-negotiable. For the next 30 days, you work in complete silence. No updates, no announcements, no documentation of progress, no audience. Delete the progress photos, all of them, the before pictures, the mid-transformation updates, the carefully staged shots that show how hard you're working. Gone. You're not tracking progress for other people anymore. If you track it at all, it's private. A notebook only you see, data only you analyze, evidence only you evaluate. Stop telling people what you're working on. When someone asks what you've been up to, you give them nothing. Just staying busy, working on some things. You don't elaborate. You don't invite their feedback. You don't seek their encouragement or validation. This will feel wrong. It will feel like you're hiding, like you're being secretive, or antisocial, or ungrateful for support. You're not. You're protecting your work from the contamination of external expectation. Because here's what happens when you work publicly. You start optimizing for the response instead of the result. You make decisions based on what will get the best reaction, not what will generate the best outcome. You choose the training program that looks impressive in videos over the one that's most effective. You work on the project that's easy to explain over the one that's most valuable. You prioritize what's documentable over what's meaningful. The audience changes the work, always, even when you don't mean for it to. So you remove the audience from your process entirely. For 30 days, you work solely for the satisfaction of keeping your word to yourself. That's the only metric that matters. Not likes, not comments, not how impressed people are. Did you do what you said you'd do? Did you show up when you committed to showing up? Did you execute on the plan you made? You measure success by execution, not recognition. This is how you build real power, not the appearance of power, not the performance of discipline. Actual capability that exists, whether anyone acknowledges it or not. It's not about impressing others. It's about becoming impressive. And those are completely different processes. One is external, temporary, and fragile. The other is internal, permanent, and unshakable. Here's your 5th protocol assignment. Go completely dark on all progress. Delete every progress post from the last 6 months. The workout photos, the business updates, the transformation documentation. All of it. Remove the evidence that you're performing your growth. Unfollow or mute anyone whose content makes you feel the need to prove yourself. If seeing their success makes you want to post about yours, they're interfering with your process. Remove them from your feed. Tell no one what you're working on for the next 30 days. Not your goals, not your progress, not your struggles. You work in complete obscurity. The only conversation about your work happens between you and yourself. At the end of each day, you write one sentence in a private journal. Today I kept my word. Or, today I broke my word. That's it. No explanation, no context, no documentation, just the truth about whether you executed. This will be uncomfortable. You'll feel invisible, unacknowledged, like you're working in a void where nothing you do matters because no one's seeing it. Good. That's exactly the point. You need to learn to work when no one's watching, to find satisfaction in execution itself, not the response to execution, to become someone who doesn't need external validation to fuel internal commitment. Because that's what mental toughness actually requires. Not the ability to perform discipline for an audience, but the ability to maintain discipline in complete obscurity. The person you're becoming doesn't need proof, doesn't need witnesses, doesn't need anyone to confirm that the work matters. They do the work because they said they would. And their word to themselves is enough. That person isn't trying to look strong. They're becoming strong. They're not proving capability. They're building it. And when the results finally arrive, when the business succeeds, When the body transforms, when the skill is mastered, there's no need to announce it. It announces itself. The outcome is the proof. The result is the validation. Until then, silence, work, execution. You don't need their permission. You don't need their applause. You don't need anyone to witness your transformation for it to be real. You just need to do the work, in private, in obscurity, without an audience. That's the key. You've stopped waiting to feel ready. You've stopped performing for validation. You've embraced discomfort. You've claimed your attention. You've abandoned proof-seeking. But there's a lie you're still believing. One that's keeping you from the commitment required.